Hello friends, I am Ambika. Welcome to SA Educational Hub, a platform to share knowledge, service providers Situn and Ambika. In this Python tutorial, we will learn syntax of the while loop, examples, important points for while loop. In Python, syntax. A while statement always consists of the following: the while keyword, a condition that is an expression that evaluates to true or false, a colon starting on the next line, an intended block of code called the while clause. Loop, the expression is evaluated. If it is true, statement is executed and the expression is re-evaluated. This cycle continues until expression becomes false, at which point execution resumes after statement. The statement can be a single statement or multiple statements or an empty statement. We can make a block of code execute repeatedly using a while statement. The code in a while clause will be executed as long as the while statement's condition is true. In the while loop, the condition is always checked at the start of each iteration, that is, each time the loop is executed. If the condition is true, then the body of the loop is executed and afterward the condition is checked again. This process of repeated execution of the body continues until the test condition finally becomes false and the control is transferred out of the loop. The first time the condition is found to be false, the body of the while loop is skipped. Here is a small example program that will keep asking you to type literally your name. First, the program sets the name variable to an empty string. This is so that the name is not equal to Ambika condition will evaluate to true, and the program execution will enter the while loop's body. The code inside this loop asks the user to type their name, which is assigned to the name variable. Since this is the last line of the block, the execution moves back to the start of the while loop and re-evaluates the condition. If the value in a name is not equal to the string Ambika, then the condition is true and the execution enters the while loop's body again. But once the user types your name, the condition of the while loop will be Ambika is not equal to Ambika, which evaluates to false. The condition is now false, and instead of the program execution re-entering the while loop's body, Python skips past it and continues running the rest of the program. This is a typical example of sentinel-controlled loops. The string constant Ambika is called sentinel value and the variable name is the condition variable, which often referred to as the sentinel variable. In a sentinel-controlled loop, a special value called a sentinel value is used to change the loop control expression from true to false. A sentinel-controlled loop is often called indefinite repetition loop because the number of repetitions is not known before the loop begins executing. Example 2. This program will print the numbers 1 to 5. In this example, we initialize the variable I to 1. Then it tests the condition to see whether the value of I is less than or equal to 5 or not. If I is less than or equal to 5, the body of the loop is executed and the value of I is displayed. Then the value of I is incremented by 1 and the control goes back to check the condition. This process continues until the condition is false. That is, if the value of I is greater than 5, control is transferred out of the loop and then program ends. The body of the loop is executed 5 times for I is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each time displaying the value of I, which is incremented inside the loop. Example 3. This program will calculate sum of all integers between 1 and 10. This program initializes the variables n to 1 and sum to 0. Then it tests the condition to see whether the value of n is less than or equal to 10 or not. If n is less than or equal to 10, the body of the loop is executed and the value of n is added to the sum. Then the value of n is incremented by 1 and the control goes back to check the condition. This process continues until the condition is false. That is, if the value of n is greater than 10, control is transferred out of the loop and then the program prints the result. The body of the loop is executed 10 times for n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10, each time adding the value of n which is incremented inside the loops. The test condition may also be written as n is less than 11. The result would be the same. This is a typical example of counter control loop. The variable n is called counter or control variable. When we know in advance exactly how many times the loop will be executed, we use a counter control loop. 4. This program calculates the factorial of a positive number. In this example, the user enters a number. The variable num is used to store this value. Then the num value is tested with the while loop condition. If it is a positive number, then this while loop is skipped. If it is a negative number, then the body of the while loop is executed and it will ask the user to re-enter a positive number. This loop will continue until the user enters a positive number. In the following steps, we initialize two variables fact and n to 1. The while loop checks the condition for n is less than or equal to num. If the condition is true, the variable n is multiplied by the fact and each time n is incremented by 1. In each iteration of while loop, n is incremented and multiplied by fact. When the value of n is greater than num, the condition given in the while loop becomes false and the loop is terminated. The factorial of a given number is displayed. Important points for while loop. In order to avoid errors, a while loop's control variable must be initialized before the loop begins. While I is less than or equal to 5, print I is equal to I plus 1. This will result in an error if a variable I has not been created beforehand. The correct form of the above code is given below. The loop control variable I is initialized to 1 before the while loop begins. The following statements are the same as in the previous code. The control variable must be updated inside the body of the while loop in a way that after some time the test condition becomes false, otherwise the loop will become an infinity loop. The above loop is an infinity loop because the value of the loop variable I is not updated within the body of the loop. As a result, it always remains 1 and the loop condition I is less than or equal to 5 always holds true. The correct form of the above code is given below. I is equal to 1, while I is less than or equal to 5, print I is equal to I plus 1. Here the loop control variable I is updated inside the body of the loop. All the statements are the same as the previous one except the last line. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Previous video was if in Python. Next video is for in Python. Contact us ambikarai27@gmail.com. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions or suggestions. Thank you.